Welcome to the Inspiration North podcast, inspiring stories from inspirational people and how they found their passion, their true north. I'm James Eves.
And I'm Michelle Minikin, and this is the Inspiration North podcast.
Today's episode, Building a Mint Community with Nicola Jayne Little. We talk about taking 10 years to work out what she wanted to do, her starting new things superpower, and the importance of merch.
Working for yourself takes courage. The members of Nicola's business club work for themselves. They are Mint, and the club was named after them. People are Nicola's joy, and every day she gets to do what she loves most, support the small business community to help their businesses thrive. She has worked with thousands of business people from the North East and Yorkshire, and they continually inspire her. Mint is the membership club for solo and micro business owners who want to keep learning, keep growing, and be part of a community of people who just get it. Hi, Nicola. It's so lovely to have you on the podcast today. Thank you ever so much.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's pretty mint.
I wonder how many mints we're going to get in. That's two so far.
I was going to say, how many can I get in?
Awesome.
Oh, dear.
So, yes, we're all currently boiling in our attics at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, first question. Did you know what you wanted to be when you grew up?
No, not at all. I can expand on that if you wish.
Yes, that'd be lovely.
I remember when I was really, really small, I just want to help people. And I was, I was born in 75. So it was when Live Aid is one of my first really big memories. Mm-hmm. And seeing loads of kids dying on the telly box, that really upset us. So what was I, about 7 or 8? And at that moment, I just wanted to help them. I can remember thinking, I just want to go and help those kids. They're just like us. So there was a notion of helping. But we had shops when I was a kid. So my dad and my mum had 3 or 4 local corner shops. And I was always in the shop serving and listening and talking to all the customers and guessing what they were going to buy. So I guess people were my thing when I was really quite young. Mm-hmm. Beyond that, not really. I think my parents became teachers and support workers when we sold the shop. So I was 11, 12. So there was that natural inclination to go into teaching. Mm-hmm. But beyond that, not really. I hated school. So I didn't want to do anything to do with school. I wanted to leave when I was 14 and used to fight continuously to leave. But I reckon people and helping was always there, which is where I land today, isn't it? So just being able to support others in any way, shape or form, it's awesome, man.
So did you manage to get out of school? When did you manage to get out of school then?
I just didn't. I didn't because my dad bet that I wouldn't go to university. So he told us I wouldn't do it. So of course I had to. I remember I had proper old-fashioned typewriter lessons. Did you guys learn to use a typewriter properly? Mm-hmm. I liked that. I liked doing that. I hated every other aspect of school, going note to man. And then I chose my A-levels based on what my best mate was done. So I got slung out of one of those because I just couldn't do it. Didn't have any aptitude for maths at all. And then continuously made decisions based on the wrong ways to make a decision on how to get educated for yourself, namely what is somebody else doing so I can follow along. But I did a business degree just because I thought I should know something about business and all that kind of stuff. I had no IT knowledge. I mean, I'm going back to when you had a shared computer suite that everybody walked into and it was proper green screen time. So I kind of figured that I should learn something about something to do with tech. It was okay. No, and then I did. And then I did an extra year after university after that. So in fact, no, I never escaped. For someone who wanted to leave when she was 14, I stayed to do extra and a bit extra after that.
That's crazy.
Funny, isn't it? Yeah.
It's like, I want to get away from you. So did you like...
Oh, here I am again for another year. See, Dad, I told you so. Dad, if you ever listen to this, your fault. Told you so.
That's literally the only way we can get Oliver to do something is like either race him or better. I don't think you'll be able to do that. And that's just like, hold my beer. Obviously, he doesn't drink 11, but
hold my milk.
Hold my milk. Don't you dare tell me I can't do something. Oh, look, did you just trick me, Father? Well done. Cheers for that. I've had a few jobs. I've had more jobs than most people, I think, because I don't stick around very long for stuff. So I've done quite an awful lot, which is very useful when you work for yourself. Like, it's the best learning where you've just done tons of other stuff. Because, as you guys know, you've got to do tons of stuff when you work for yourself.
Give us a run through then, jobs wise.
I do want all of them. Right, wait, let me remember. So when I was a kid, obviously I worked in the shop and served people. And then I reckon I had McDonald's, and then I worked in what was B&Q before that. So it was Dickens hypermarket. So that was paints and nuts and bolts. And then Revell Shoes was good because I was really obsessed with shoes. So I loved the shoes. Worked for a jewellery shop. Pubs, definitely. And I left that pub because someone bit the ear off someone else, and I didn't think that was pretty cool. So there's loads. I always had 3 or 4 jobs at uni, doing 3 or 4 things at a time. It was cool. I've done, sales on the phone, didn't last long. I picked bananas, definitely 2 days. In fact, I don't think I even managed 2 days on a banana farm. That was horrendous.
Where was the banana farm?
In Australia.
Okay, I was going to say, I was like, there's not many around County Durham. I don't think.
Just horrendous, man. That was boring. Recruitment, 2 different kinds of recruitment. Teaching, clearly. So I ended up in teaching eventually. I ended up in the job that I should have been in. But quite a few. Quite a few. But you learn so much, don't you? Whatever you're selling, whatever you're helping those customers, and there's just so much to learn when you're chucking yourself in that experience. I worked at the Disney shop. The Disney shop was fascinating because their rules and their brand. I learned about brand at Disney, right? Because they're so strict. Ridiculous. You used to have people from Europe come in and go round the shop with white gloves to see if you cleaned it well enough and if you were displaying and did you sing properly. And I nearly got sung out a couple of times because I didn't wear the tights. Because I hate tights, right? So I just used to put false down on my legs and pretended I had the tights on, but you hadn't have the tights on. Bro, I can't not have the tights on if you're in Disney. So that was fun. But brand and Disney brand and how they are, it's eye-opening when you're behind the scenes in a shop.
What kind of rules?
Everything. So if you, I don't know if you have a brand pack for your businesses, but the colours and the fonts and the words that you use, how you write about yourself, the way you take photos. But in Disney, it's like on steroids, you are absolutely cannot go off brand. So if anything is damaged, it just can't go out. You could never give it away. You couldn't resell it. Gosh, I'll probably be liable as soon, but you did everything to uphold the brand. So how you looked, how you spoke, how you were, it was rote. You wrote how to address people, how to serve that customer. And it was staggeringly strict. You cannot go off script or brand when you work in, well, let's face it, it is just one of the biggest brand, or if not the biggest brand. And you have to stay on script and you have to fit into that. You have to be able to fit into that.
There's a big part of me now that wants to go to the Metro Centre and start asking really weird questions of them to see what happens.
I know, bless them all, but just go around with a white glove. So I'll never forget it. I mean, we were up till 2 o'clock.
Downstairs.
Like white glove upstairs, right? And they were crawling on the cupboards and there were white gloving everywhere to make sure the dust wasn't there.
Very popular.
Which is if you think about it, it's just a moment of nonsense, isn't it? Because you clean for that person coming in and then there's no guarantee that you've cleaned in that way the next week. But that's how serious they took it.
Yes, I'm not going to go and torment the people in the Disney shop. Don't panic. I don't like the Metro Centre this time. Too people-y.
No, I think I worked at the Metro Centre when it first opened. So we opened the Metro Centre and then I went over to Eldon Square, which it doesn't have one in Newcastle anymore, and we opened that one as well. So it was fun at that time. It was quite staggering. Quite staggering to know how protective, obviously, a really big, and they should protect the brand, of course. You have to fit into that machine, if you like. You've got to be part of that. Clearly, I wasn't very good at it. I didn't cope very much with it being that strict.
Yeah.
Don't do rules. I do my rules. My rules are cool for my business. Everybody else's rules are a struggle.
Tell me about the teaching.
Oh, I loved it. There is nothing more glorious than sitting with 4-year-olds and watching them. So my favourite year is reception. So you get the kids in reception, and they're little still. They're like babies still. But by the end of reception, the amount they learn in that year is just extraordinary. You know, all kids, no matter where they start to where they're going out, and their faces and the look of wonderment all of the time. And so anybody who's listening or whatever, if you don't have kids, you know, one day just sit on the floor and look from a child's height at everything, because it's so different. You know, you get around and you scrabble about on the floor with them and you see what they're seeing, and it just changes your worldview. Because all of a sudden you're at people's knee height for a start. So 4-year-olds just look at everybody's bum, basically, because that's where they are. And then you see their world, and it's just so fascinating. I loved it. I worked with a lot of kids with additional needs, which is where my passion for kids with additional needs came from. It was already there in us. But I ended up working in one class with just 10 of us. So we called it the nurture class. So it was 3 adults and 10 kids. And this is mainstream. And it was my best year. Like, just loved it. Breakfast together, cushions being slung about, cutlery, hide everywhere. I mean, it was lots of learning as well. Absolutely fab. And those kids are growing up now. They get big and in college and uni. And I do feel old. But they did all right. They were all right. It was glorious times.
It's fun. It's always what you said about the age of kids. Both my parents were in education. And my dad was a head teacher. And if he was having a really bad day, he would just say to Angela, I'm just off to the nursery or to reception for half an hour. They were like, come on in, Mr. Reeves. We'll come and we'll look at your teeth and have role play on. Let's cut your hair for you. And it'll be
come read us a story. Come do, because they're just like sponges, and it's wonderful because they just want to learn, and everything is learning, and you just watch and think, I wish I was still a little bit like that. And of course, that's what we try and encourage in Mint, is just continuous learning, because you learn till you die, and that's it if you wish to, you know. But when you see it from their perspective, what's this? And the questions that I used to get asked. And you'd be like, what are you asking us? And then thinking, okay, how did you even come to that point that you're asking that thing? And it was so cool. And especially when they talked about grown-up stuff and you had to tell the parents at 3:00 now, that was always a wonderful moment. Just so you know, this is what we're talking about today. What? But they're inquisitive and they ask. You've got to answer. Absolutely marvellous.
I know. We've got a letter home a couple of weeks ago to say that they're going to be doing relationships and sexual stuff, education stuff at school. And all of us like, I know we're all anyway. We've got all the books. And he asks the questions. I'm like, well, I like to him about Santa Claus, but all the sex stuff he knows.
Claus is a weird one. Never got my head around that whole please go and sit on that stranger's knee and ask for your world, but don't sit on any other stranger's knee, mind. I am a little bit at odds with Santa. I love it and I love Christmas and how they get, but a little bit at odds with the whole stranger danger.
Yeah. Oliver wouldn't go anywhere near the Santa Clauses.
Oh, loads of kids are so scared. Like, they're like really terrified. But yeah.
The question's about, well, it's just the whole kind of there's a strange man coming down the chimney
into my home. Get him out.
Or any bit like the songs, it's like he sees you when you're sleeping. It sounds like the intro to a Freddy Krueger movie or something. He knows when you're awake. Oh, you're not going to sleep then.
Yeah, and I wonder how many of those sleep problems you had with him was about Santa Claus.
Possibly. And also because it starts in September. It used to drive me mad because we're talking about Santa won't come in September. Well, 4-year-olds have no concept of the next minute, never mind trying to keep them good till Christmas from September, for all of that time. The blooming shops put it in. You get your school uniform, don't you? And then you walk in and there's blooming wrapping paper there. It's just like, no, not already, please, man.
No.
I'm going to get them till Christmas. Oh, it was lush, man. Absolutely glorious times. And then not. and then not. And then so I just decided to leave and set up my own business, which I did on one of my usual whims. Or I'll just resign now. I've got no idea what I'm doing. I've got no idea how to run a business, but I've got an idea. So I'll just walk out of school and have no money for the next 5 years. And it was a huge moment, and I'm really thrilled I did it. Really, really properly pleased. So I wouldn't advise anybody else to do it the way I did it at all. However, needs must, and what suits you suits you. So there you go. Came out of that and then ended up teaching big people, grown-ups instead of little people. Same.
It's the same. They're humans.
They're all humans. And if you're listening, Minties, yes, you are more badly behaved than the 4-year-olds. I'll just slide that in there for you.
But do we want good behaved? What's the word?
Well-behaved.
Well-behaved. See, there's a word in there. Do we want well-behaved humans?
No. There's a place for everybody, and difference should be celebrated. You know what I mean? Herd humans is not what we need, or else which business would be started? If everybody was the same, there'd be nobody doing entrepreneurial stuff at all. There just wouldn't be. And when you look at the amount of people who are different, in inverted commas, who've started really big businesses, really successful businesses, without the way they see the world, it just couldn't have happened, because you have to have people who see the world differently. And it's beautiful, but it's not accepted enough or readily. And the challenges that we all have, if we are a little bit different, you're diverse, whatever, it's a struggle just being yourself anyway, never mind trying to fit in with anybody else's expectation. And I know we've talked about this before, so but yeah, no, if you're well behaved, don't join Mint. I want the naughty ones.
Want the naughty ones.
As a stop line, are you naughty? Right, you can come in.
It's the first question on the Facebook group. And the rules are naughty. Okay.
How many times have you been sacked? Nearly sacked. Decided you're in. You're my lot. Sorry. I've only been sacked once. Only once.
It was a big one, though.
Me too.
Just once.
Yeah. Just once.
So much so.
Club. Yeah. We could have a new club. How many times have you been sacked?
Yes. Well, that could be a question we start asking everybody as well.
If it's more than once, at least once, though. You have to have been sacked at least once. That's fun, isn't it, when you get sacked? And you're sitting there going, I'm not quite sure how I got to this moment, but now I don't have this job. Interesting.
Yeah. And it was like, for me, it was like, okay, so I don't want any jobs ever again now.
Nah. Don't you think, when you have a really bad day, when you're having that really bad day and you think, right, I'll just go and get a job. And everybody's done this. I've done this. You guys must have done it. Right, I'm going for a job. Okay, what job? What could I have? Oh dear, I can't go for a job. I'm literally unemployable. So that kind of thought that, no, let's not bother. Right, I best make this work instead. It helps when you know you can't go and get a job.
I keep seeing them though. I was like, oh, I could totally do this job. Yeah. I don't want to.
and in 2 or 3 days, you'd be like, this was a bad idea for them and me.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yes, I'll be sacked within the week.
Yeah. I'll open my mouth and say something that's probably the most inappropriate thing to say, but truthful. But people don't like the truth, Nicola. Please close your mouth. Now you've been sacked. Okay, then.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
So this was you walking out of job without a real kind of plan or an idea. Well, you had an idea, didn't you?
I certainly did. So we launched an online women's magazine, like any other magazine except it was online. So that was 12, 13 years ago. So it was a wee bit before its time. Like, the fact that you could sell advertising, you could have the same volume of stuff, you could have more stuff, you could run the competitions, and it was all proper eco-friendly, recycling, anything to do with that movement, but wasn't shoving it down people's necks, because we need to do more, don't we? We need to be involved and look around us and see and take our responsibility for the stuff we eat and do and use. So there I was going, right, Eco Magazine, Daisy Green, girl's name, Daisy Green, roped my best mate in, Suzanne. Obviously, she's still with us now, so it's all right. Had no idea what we're doing. I had an idea, and it was enough to carry us for 5 years. We bought a second company, an events company at that time. So we were doing huge events all over the country. Couldn't monetize it properly, didn't know what I was doing with that. which is hence some of the courses I run now. But we had a lot of fun, we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of challenge, had a lot of fun. Probably a master's degree in how not to run a business. 5 years, I reckon, on the job training, 4 or 5 staff at one point. It was lush, man. And so from that, I learned the power of digital, because everything was digital. We set up all of our accounts then. We had a database with tens and tens of thousands of people in it before. It was hard work to get that. So, you're like 12 years ago, it was different. Facebook, I think you could use Facebook for one thing at that time, and now nobody can keep up with it on a daily basis. But it was lush because I learned the power of digital then, and built a business on it. And then that unraveled for loads of different reasons, mostly because we didn't quite still know what we're doing. Not a pressure. Started the third business, I guess technically had one, bought one. Third one was Digital Sparkles communication training agency. That was lush. And then that one I just parked because Mint Business Club, where I can bring everybody together and continuously teach people, that seemed to be the thing that I should be doing. So it took about, 10 years of being self-employed, 9 or 10 years before I worked out what I was trying to do. So, that's it. Some people know what they want to do or what they should be doing, and other people like me have no idea, and we just keep going until we start hitting upon it. Yeah.
But as always, we always say these, every different experience, like you said, you talked about brand and Disney, teaching others, like kids, having a captive audience. How do you keep a bunch of 4 or 5 year olds captivated? They all become experiences that then you finally get to this point with Mint, and it's boom,
it's all there.
Clicks.
Yeah. And you could look back and think I planned every step. So, it was inadvertent this or that, but you could go through and go, I learned that from that bit, but of course it's not planned. And it's certainly not the difficult times, they're not planned, but you look back and think, that came from that bit, or that knowledge came from that bit, as if by magic you just end up eventually doing stuff that you were supposed to do. But for me, it was just absolute trial and error. And I think my speciality, if you like, is starting new stuff. I'm not great at longevity, but I'm really good at the new stuff. So I could start a new business tomorrow and just be absolutely absorbed in it. I'm really blessed now because there are people in Mint who run Mint operationally, because I'm just not, that's not my bag. And so it's I've got this wonderful situation now that I can keep doing what I'm good at and have other people doing what I'm really terrible at. And that means that the business can go and keep going. Or else normally I would just stop and start another one, because that's my bit. Like that excitement, that those moments where you register a new business with the new idea in your own company's house, and then boom, off we go. Here we go. How do I get money in? Right. Here we go. Get on with the marketing. I love that. And that's my bit. But I can look back at when I was serving customers when I was 8 years old, and I learned how to talk to people, and I learned how to listen. I also learned how to upsell, because you need matches with your tabs, right? And if you want to get those sweets, you might as well have tried these new sweets, because So I learned to upsell when I was really small. I love it. So I tell you about my dad, right? My dad, his love for people is just extraordinary. It really is. And he and I painted one of his customers' front rooms, because she was a lady called Elsie. She was about 85. She couldn't get out. And Dad used to hand deliver her food all of the time, because she had no family, you see, so she was over the road. So I remember when I was really small, standing in this room and my dad going, it just needs painting, Elsie. Elsie, man, the room needs painting. You've smoked so many tabs, it's all gone bright orange. And then the next thing I knew, me and my dad are painting this room. And how good customer service is that, right? Like, you paint this lady's room, but he just loves people like I do, just like, and I wouldn't do that for any of the members. So if any of you are listening, I'm not coming to I was like, oh, I've got paint here. No, I love it, but I'm not doing it. But that's what I learned. I learned how to look after people and serve people, actually truly serve people, to their needs, rather than it being anything else. That's just from when I was small. So you just line all those dots up, don't you? And you end up now doing this thing. And it's all glorious, and you wouldn't change the bad stuff because that's part of it, So it's exciting, man. Proper mint. Is that the second time I've said it?
Don't know.
Maybe the 20th.
So we're waiting to see if mint interior decorating starts up anytime soon.
Well, the kids, my niece and nephew, are really obsessed with me merch. Like, okay, 7 and 9, and Nick's got loads of merch. And I'm like, what is merch? Our merchandise. So now they've got a cup, and now I'm thinking, what are the merch going to have? As you do.
Yeah, we've got some Work Pirates merch. Yeah, we did the school run in the Work Pirates hoodies, so like advertising.
Get your merch out. Funny though, that's their language. And for a minute I was like, what are you talking about, kids? And they're just obsessed with companies that have free stuff. And they're just 7 and 9, do you know what I mean? That's their world though. Everywhere you go, aren't you tempted with the free stuff or the freebie or that badge or that free pen or that pencil? And they're just living in this world where merch comes alongside any kind of loyalty to a brand. Tiny kids teaching me again, thinking, really? Is that what you're saying? Okay. Because when you're big and you're going to start your business, I best have loads of merch ready.
Absolutely. Go to one of those conferencey things with all of the different stands and just go. It's like trick or treat.
Fill me bag up. And the competition then is to get different merchandise, isn't it? Don't need no more Quality Street. Thanks very much, right? What do you have that's different to give away? It costs thousands of pounds. Only listening to them and how they see that.
Yeah, we send him to school and he's got a little Work Pirates t-shirt, hasn't it, as well? Yeah. It's like, I'm just promoting you, mummy.
Yeah. He keeps asking for royalties as well, doesn't he? How much are you going to pay me to wear this?
It's like food board,
Yeah.
Well, you're flipping PlayStation.
It's good stuff.
So tell us a little bit more about Mint.
So, it was a real challenge. I loved delivering digital training, which was business number 3 at Digital Swells, because I could see how much people really wanted to understand this world of digital, but they didn't see themselves as maybe skilled or as marketers, because that's not what they do. They've got a thing and they do the thing. Like, I make beautiful jewelry, but I couldn't possibly market it and sell it because that's not my thing, right? But of course, you run your own business, you've got to do all the things. You've got to do all the things all of the time. And, I delivered this digital training. It was awesome. It was funded. I was all over, the North East and Yorkshire, watching people come away from my training being almost a little bit more confused that they came in because they had a knowledge of what it could be, but 12 hours just was never enough. And that's what you're entitled to. And it's great. It starts you off. And I used to think, I just wish I could keep you for just another session or just another couple of sessions, or if I could just keep you for another couple of months together, then I reckon you'd really get this and you could chat to each other and we could keep that vibe going. And that's where Mint came from, was this idea that, you've had this training from me free, ostensibly free. It's not free, obviously, it's funded. But that if we just keep working together, I can get you to a different point. And that was it. So I think our first probably 50 members were people who had either been to one of my networking sessions or to funded training. And I go, right, we've got you to there. Next month we're doing this. Then next month we're doing that. And we just stayed together for a while, you see. And then it just went from there. We had 50 members, we had 150 members, a couple of 100 members. It goes up and down, fluctuates, COVID, etc., etc. But the whole premise is that you have a gang of people who are like you, truly like you. It's not lip service, because 98% of them are self-employed. So on the good days, the bad days, the intermediate days, there's always a gang there of people who are like them, trying to achieve like them. Any question is open. You can ask absolutely anything. It's a really safe space. And anything does get asked. But I truly believe everybody can keep learning forever until the day you die. You can keep learning. And I truly believe that If you want it enough, you can make it your thing. And that's not about being the next multi-millionaire, I don't know, Richard Branson type. It's about, what does your business give you? What do you want it to give you? Are you brave enough to ask for that? Because if you've got a support network around you, you can have it. I mean, you'll have to graft, you'll have to put the effort in, but you know what? You can have it. And so there's something else that really irritates us when everybody thinks we have to all get to a 6-figure business and have 300 members of staff, and you've got and that in the North East is really prevalent. You know, if you go on for under training, how many staff are you going to have? How many this is, and it just drives me potty because people want, in the main, a really good life out of their self-employment. That might be 50 grand in for themselves. That might be, you know, a half year working and half year with the kids. It doesn't matter. But there's a judgment on that up here, and maybe in the whole country, but I live up here. So, and that is wrong. People should be able to be self-employed to achieve what they need to do without that whole pressure all the time. If you've got to be bigger, you've got to be better. So we do a lot of work on being stable, like really stable, and maintenance. You're at the point that you want to be. Awesome. Sustainable maintenance of your business. What does that look like? You've got to grow to get there, but then the challenge is to keep it there. So you've still got a different set of challenges, but without judgment. Like, if you never want to have staff, good for you, right? If you want loads of staff, good for you. If you want to work 3 days a week, good for you, because we should have that choice. We're self-employed, and like, we should give ourselves that choice. And that's what Mint's about, being accepting of yourself in what you've chosen to do. With quite a lot of training, an awful lot of training as well to get your skills up. So, I don't know, it's a funny thing, isn't it? It's a funny thing. Everywhere you go, you've got to be bigger. Come on, 6 figures. What about 7 figures? Hello, do you know how hard that is to go from 0 to bring in 50 grand in? Do you know how hard that actually is to do? You've got to have some guts to get to that point before you can get to the next point. It's not acknowledged.
No,
I don't know why.
I got asked the question, Michelle, you don't want a lifestyle business, do you? And I was like, yes, no.
Yeah. No, couldn't possibly want a nice life. That's what I say now. Define lifestyle business. Okay, well, 50 grand in. Yeah, but I'm going to take 45 of that for myself because I work from the house and I've got really low costs and I've got a higher salary than most of the North East. That's what my lifestyle business gets me, or it's a bugbear of mine. Why should you not have a nice life with your lifestyle business that suits your life? Hello, right? And it's so condescending, Michelle, and also normally, if I may, from my point of view, said to me perhaps more than to people of a different gender from mine. I've had that said to me so many times, and I'll stand there thinking, are you saying this because I'm a lass?
Oh, yeah, right? I've had that one as well.
Yeah, you bring that in, you're a life. Oh, by the way, when are you going to have kids to fit in with your lifestyle business? Shut up. Just shut up. Please.
So you're too nice to be in business, Michelle. You should just go and get yourself a job.
And what does that actually mean? You're too nice to be in business, go and get a job. Like, what on earth does that sentence mean? Like, literally, what does that mean? Does that mean you have to go off and be really, 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 really horrible? Is everybody who runs a business like a complete rotter?
I love that word. Yeah, complete rotter.
I'd have that on a t-shirt. That can be part of my merch.
Yes, I'd buy one of those. Complete rotter t-shirts.
Hashtag. Do you see how this is where it starts? So now my new business, complete rotter, hashtag, right? Because isn't it ridiculous? Also, don't judge me. Don't tell me I'm too nice. But also, how do you know me to say I'm too nice or too not nice? Or who are you to make that judgment of me? And this is what comes out often in the business community. This is what I hear. Self-employed people coming and saying, well, you know, nobody supports me. I kind of get this because I don't want to take on any staff, Nick. And I'm like, I'm not surprised, you know, right? I haven't staff. All of my stuff are beautiful and lovely, of course. It's hard. It's really hard. You know, they're lush, man. They're lush, me team. Why do people just assume or think that they can judge our choice of profession?
Because that's the problem I have as well, is that the whole scaling phase that everyone's like, oh, you've got to scale. And but what you're telling me is that I totally believe in having people that either work for you or you're contracted to do particular things. Like you said, I love starting stuff, but managing the day-to-day, no, someone else will do that for me. But it's this thing of what you're telling me is to create a structure which becomes more corporate, which is why I left the corporate world in the first place. Didn't want to manage people, all the bullshit, bureaucracy, process. That's why I left. And it's, why is it not okay to just say, actually, do you know what? I'm quite content. I've got business that pays the bills. I can say, do you know what? I'm going to take the rest of the day off.
Because it's sunny.
Yeah. It's like, instead of going to the office.
Because you don't fit in the norm anymore. Because you've stepped out of that norm, because you've chosen a different path that people can't understand, and only in scale is it valuable to the economy, and it's absolute complete and utter rubbish. It's absolute, and I'm not going to swear, but it's absolute rubbish. And contentment in our choice of employment, self or otherwise, surely has to be at the top of the bag. All we talk about now is our mindsets and our well-being. Nobody's well in our heads. We're not well as a society because we do too much and we're trying to please everybody. We're never pleasing ourselves. So like you say, you step out of corporate and then the support normally, and there's so many good supportive networks out there and fundatory and all of that. Of course there is, but that support is set up to help you scale up. Because guess what? There's only scale up that matters. And it's going to be big scale up. It can't just possibly be that you pull down a really cool salary every month and you could work half of the month for it. I mean, you cannot be that abnormal. Surely not.
We'll be trying to be normal all our lives, Nicola, with failings.
It's normal. Who judges what's a fit anyway? And I do think a lot of people are just a wee bit jealous. I mean, I'm sure you two have had it, like you say, you're too nice for this, or it's got to be like that. Oh, gosh, haven't you got a nice car? Aren't you doing well? Pardon me, what? Excuse me? Thank you for your judgment. Passing off. They're off. Thanks for that. Yes, by the way, I've got a lush car. It's lush. It's mint. It's not green, no, it's red. It's like that judgment all the time. And it makes me feel sad for those people who are doing it, because I just think, do you know what? Have a go. Step out of your life and come in and try something else, because you're obviously clamoring for something else. It just takes a lot of brave. It takes so much braveness to work for yourself. It does.
It's not easy.
It's not. Anybody listening, if you think you're just going to go and start a business and be a millionaire tomorrow, it's no.
It takes 10 years to be an overnight success.
Yeah, I read that. Yeah. 10 years, in my case, 12 at least. Look at all the stuff you do, aren't you, everywhere? Yeah, 12 years I've been slogging at it like.
It's a funny one, and then there'll be I'm expecting more in the future conversations, which are, right, James, I've reached a point, I'm fed up with my job. I see you doing really well and you've got your own business, so there's something linked there. I want to do the same now. What do I need to do? It's like, well, all those years where I really wasn't making any money and I was working quite hard, and you're going to have to take a hit. The first thing you try might not actually work. Mm-hmm. And there's a big learning process in that. And it's going to be it's taken me 3 to 5 years to actually get back to earning money that I was previously, potentially. Yeah. And I think that's I love that leap of faith. I really admire anyone who just says, I'm going to have a go at doing something myself.
Yeah.
Because like you said, the word braveness or courage, having a go. I guess it's always, what's the worst that can happen? It doesn't work.
Yeah. Get
a job or try something else.
Yeah.
But you've had that.
It doesn't suit everybody though, James. It doesn't. I mean, my parents gave up their shops after they tried the best for however many years, and in the end, it didn't suit them. It wasn't for them. Certainly wasn't for my mum. But having a go is the thing, isn't it? Right? Because you make your decisions properly, because you've tried something, it didn't work, or you learn stuff from it, and then you make your next decision based on proper fact, proper data, proper experience, rather than I just think I can go and do that and is it going to be easy, because they all make it look really easy. We would just have a go then and see, because it's not easy, right? It just isn't easy. But I love people who have a go. And I think that's at the heart of Mint as well. People come in and they turn up. Even when they don't want to turn up, they still turn up. Like, even if they're having the most rubbish day, they'll come into the group and say, do you know what, I'm having a really rubbish day. And then 50 people will send them a message of love and, put their arms around them. And then all of a sudden they're going, yeah, I feel a bit better now. Thank you. I knew I could come here. And that's what makes my heart sing when I see people just support each other because they get it, because they know what that feels like right now, and that it passes. Those moments pass, and then all of a sudden it's tomorrow. And the opposite of that is, of course, when they're having a really good day and they've just achieved something that they feel like they never could. They come in the group and go, "Why, man, I've just done this," and then it's like, whoa! We all have a party together. How lush to have a team to celebrate when you are sitting by yourself in the loft and there's nobody there. But you can come in and you've got a gang to just celebrate those moments, because the big moments are so much bigger when they're good, aren't they? So you have the really rubbish days, but the big days, you're like, oh my God, I wouldn't stop this feeling for anything. And that can be just as daunting sometimes, I think, when you've just maybe won that new contract and you're like, oh, what do I do? I didn't think I was going to get that. What am I doing now? Right, what do I do next? And then we have a next, because there's a guy who can get you to the next. Flush. Just people, nice people, trying their best, turning up and doing.
Yep.
Yep.
And you got a plan for world domination?
Well, possibly, maybe. I'm a little bit tired at the minute, so I might put that on hold for a couple of months. But yeah, there's stuff coming. I mean, there's so much more, I think, that as a business we could bring into it. Like, we have 6 pillars of Mint covering everything from foundation through to money, through to growth, personal growth, by the way, it doesn't have to be scaled. Right, but I just think we're doing this Kickstart stuff at the minute. So there you go. We won the Kickstart contract without any thought that we actually would, because we are just, let's have a go at that. That seems to be a really good thing to do for our members, right? Because then we can help them bring a person in if they want to. Isn't that brilliant? Oh, what have we done? And so we've got this Kickstart stuff going on, and it's brilliant. We've placed 20, 25 young people in work, really passionate about that. But it's way off the mark for what we do normally. But what the hell, go big or go home, have a go. And it's working, but it's changed our business, because obviously you've got that running, and we've got... So yeah, I'll have a go at pretty much anything if I can see that it would make sense to our members. If I can see that there's a proper link. We've got a funded contract now that's going to last about 2.5 years. Let's talk about marketing. By the way, that's for anybody outside of County Durham. You can come on it, and that fits. So you can come to our stuff, but we can give you this as well. But that really fits. So what else as a business can we bring in so your business is solid and stable? So you are solid and stable. So yeah, I don't know about world domination. The North East will do, because big place, it's a little place, but it's big enough, really. Do you want world domination? Because when I was on Money All Things, you had people from all over the place dialing in.
Oh, well, this one's lived most places, so.
It's, I don't know. It's almost things like podcasts, they get listened to in lots of places. So, but it's, I don't know, English speaking world. We'll do the job.
Yeah, I think we can help Americans.
Yeah.
We watch all these shows and just think we could help Americans. And America, to be fair, we'll just give the new administration a tinkle.
Yeah.
Say, listen, pet.
Listen, pet. I'm just saying. I have some colleagues who do some stuff in America all the time, and they're just like, they love it, because people apparently love the entrepreneurial spirit over there. That's really respected, maybe in a way different to what we are. So I'd love to sort of feel that and know what that is like. But like, I'm a proper home Geordie lass, and there's a lot of people in the North East I think we could help. And I kind of also don't like everything in dollars. It just confuses me head. It confuses me head. They're based in Gateshead, but you're paying in dollars. And I'll be like, don't get it. I do get it. I get it, but I don't get it. You're down the road 5 miles, and I'm paying you in dollars. But, I don't know. Yeah, that's me. That's a definite me.
Sometimes it's like loads cheap, though. It's like...
I know. I think I obviously have a thing going on in my brain. I'm like, I can't cope with that because you're not actually in America. You're in Gateshead. Mm-hmm.
I love it. Okay, shall we move on to the quick fire round before we slowly boil to death like lobsters in the attic?
It's warm, isn't it? In the attic.
Question number 1, James.
What is the most important bit of business advice you have ever received?
Do you know what, right? Not received, learned, know your money. Don't be scared of it, because you've got to know your money. You've got to know what in money means, what revenue means. You've got to know what the out money means. You've got to know that if you hide your money in your tin, in your cupboard, doesn't help. And I think that we do. Let's talk about money again. It's been a funded thing. I had about 180 people through the course, and it's been transformational for their mindset, because so many people are scared of sales, ergo scared of money, don't have a handle on what they're spending and what they're bringing in. And without money coming in, without selling stuff, there's no business at all. So you can argue that you need to know everything, but if you don't know about your cash, you're really in potential danger of not having a business. So just know your money. But you need to find people who will help you, like we do, where it's a really safe environment, because money is so emotional. And we'll start our course talking about, even down to the very basics, like, do you know what you've sold this month? And people do, but don't. And they're too scared to ask, because so many people feel so afraid to ask the basic questions. Well, but if you don't know, you don't know. Like for me, it's just like, you don't know, so let's just ask and we'll tell you. But there's so much emotion wrapped up in money. You've got to know your money.
Awesome. Question number 2. What item could you not live without?
Like in my whole life or in my work life?
Either. Both.
Henry Bear. I've had Henry Bear since my first Christmas. And I would like to put him on the repair shop, because his nose has gone through and there's all bear bits and I couldn't leave him. I'd be a gibbering wreck. So he's the thing that would, apart from my husband, I would definitely save him. But he's the thing that I would save from the house, Henry Bear. He's next to my bed, getting dusty.
Oh.
That's lovely. And question number 3, what is your favourite ice cream flavour?
Without irony, mint chocolate chip.
There we go.
That's where I thought of the question. I was like,
but it was way before I had this business called Mint, right? I love mint chocolate. Okay, so do you bite the bottom off the cones and suck it out the bottom? Yes or no?
No, because it's too messy.
It's got to be done. You've got to bite the bottom off and suck it through. Just saying.
We live not too far from this amazing ice cream parlour, which is dangerous because they're huge scoops of ice cream. Yeah, so the last time I had it was mint chocolate chip and chocolate, which I thought was they go together. Because I'm a bit weird about food mixing. So it was massive. Didn't need to eat any tea whatsoever.
I'm full of ice cream. That is my ice cream to me. Nothing else will fit now.
Yes.
Love it.
So if we could get in a time machine and take you back to 18-year-old Nicola, what advice would you give her apart from don't do maths A level? Because quite frankly, it's too hard.
I reckon it would have to be something about getting to know myself sooner. Because as you both know, I got my ADHD diagnosis last year, which was October last year, and I was 46 and a half. And I wish I'd had that sooner. I mean, I've learned a lot from it, but I wish I had known myself better sooner because my decisions would have been different. So, but then at that time, it wouldn't have happened because nobody knew about it in girls anyway. So it's one of those moot point things. But I reckon also I would have liked to have said to myself, it doesn't matter, it'll hurt, but you'll always, always, always get your way through it because I always have. And that that's just the crack. Until you know about yourself, it'll hurt, but you'll always get your way through it. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Me too now.
Yeah. I think.
So for our listeners then, if you would like to follow Nicola, you can pretty much just search anywhere. Should pick any platform, Google, any Instagram, wherever you fancy, look for Mint Business Club and you will find her.
Cool.
Well, we've really enjoyed chatting, haven't we?
Yep.
Thanks, Madly, for joining us.
Yeah, sorry for not asking me sooner.
Thank you so much for having me. And like me sitting there going, I want to be on that. Why haven't you asked me? But you had me on the list.
You've been on the list since the start.
Awesomeness. You're doing so well. Do you still love it as much now as when you started?
Podcasting.
Yeah.
We are professional nosy parkers.
Perfect.
And we learn so much from these. So yeah, absolutely. So
you just have so many different people. There's such a diverse, you just have people, which is just diverse anyway, do you know what I mean? But you have such a diverse set of people to talk to. And it's lush to listen and just find out what makes people tick, because we're all obviously so unique in it. It's fab, and you've done billions of them now.
Billions. Yeah, so this week was 130.
Yeah.
That's a good one. She has the little minx hat on, so we could talk to her all day. Like you. You'd love her. Oh my God, yes, you would be best friends with her.
Yes, absolutely. Send her my way. Little minx.
She's a little minx. Yeah.
Little minx. We can have all the little minxes. Thanks very much. Minty minx.
Oh, that's another one. That's another t-shirt for your business. Hashtag little minx.
Little Miss Can't Be Wrong. That's what the guys who I worked with in Disney, Little Miss Can't Be Wrong, and they used to sing it to us because apparently I think I can't ever be wrong, or when I was 20, certainly. Little Miss Can't Be Wrong. I did think about that for a t-shirt. Yeah, that would be a good one. Thank you for having me. It's been an absolute glorious chat.
Thanks everyone for listening. Check out all the show notes at inspirationnorth.com. Join us again for the next episode when we'll be chatting to another inspirational person. If you like this, subscribe and tell your friends. If you didn't like this, subscribe anyway and tell everybody.